Hey, so Merry Christmas Eve, Happy Christmas Eve, whatever it is that you're about to do. If you're somebody who don't even believe in Christmas, just enjoy the days off and eating with family and friends. Um, Happy whatever that is to you too. But just like Thanksgiving, when we had that other discussion, I couldn't let this go by without bringing up that other discussion that are really important. Because a lot of people get upset during the holidays. And before, I kind of talked about a way to avoid the external influences, people who you love, people who you know, upsetting you during the holidays. Today, I want to talk about something that I think you're going to be upset with, but I think I want you to upset yourself. Let me do this. Let me show anybody who doesn't know what I talked about last time. Good morning, reigning woman. Welcome. What I want to do first is to show everybody what I was talking about for reference. Okay. For reference, this is the video I was talking about before: avoiding holiday depression and holidays blues by avoiding people. That's not what I'm talking about today. Today I want to talk about, it's kind of like meditation. And all the way up until I read a book called the Hagakure. I'm going to show you, excuse me, I'm going to show you the book for reference. Let's see here. Hagakure is a book written by a samurai. Don't worry, this is not about being a samurai. And it translates into In the Shadow of the Leaves by Yamamoto Tsunetomo. I am not pronouncing that name as well as I could. Good morning, Art of Becoming More. Thank you for showing up. Glad to see you. So this is the book I'm referencing, the Hagakure. And there's a section in the book where he talks about meditation. And up until this time, I didn't know anybody meditated the same way I did. When he meditated, and I think this is, let's say, I want to say page 100 and, 160, around that time in the book, he meditated on the worst things that could happen. Now, as a samurai, the worst things that could happen is he was in a battle and pushed off a cliff and hit the rocks below. He was shot to death by thousands of arrows by his enemies, and not even noble enemies, shot to death by arrows of just common foot soldiers as a grand samurai. Well, let's not meditate on arrows. I don't think we need to talk about, well, I hope there's nobody here, and if you are, I want you to raise your hand. Let me know if there's anybody here who thinks that their death may come at the hands of bullets or being shot to death by swords, by arrows or anything like that. So here's what I want to tell you. For the holidays, I want you to do an exercise. I just want you to do it tomorrow, just to try it out. This is something I do every day. Not many people know that I do this. I don't share this a lot, but as always, I try to share any good things that I have. Naima, thank you. Naima is always a superstar as well. Everybody knows I'm not a YouTuber, although I will take a check if they give me one, and this is how people support me. People throw me $5, whatever, to buy some coffee and keep the good times rolling, and thank you. So here's what I want you to think about tomorrow morning, and you got to think about it a little bit tonight before you go to bed, because tomorrow's Christmas. I want you to take 1 minute when you wake up, before you go pee. I want you to take 1 minute and think of some of the most horrible things that you could wake up to. You see, Christmas is normally a day when we wake up to the smell of something good downstairs, excited about the presents that we're giving to people. Let's not lie. Some people are excited about the presents they're going to get for themselves. But what if we took 1 full minute before you got up, but when you were fully awake. And think about the worst things that could happen. Let me tell you some of mine. Let me tell you what I think about sometimes when life is going well, so that it doesn't sneak up on me later. Here, how about this one? Waking up to a text message or a phone call saying that people I loved died before Christmas. They didn't even get to see sunrise. How will I handle that? Will I lead by emotion? Will I spaz out? Will I remain calm? Will I have to put on a brave face for everyone else? Will I have to take my Christmas day and organize the unpleasantries of death? And we have to do an entire show about that. Organizing funerals. Long story short, I think my mother, actually, before I was even born, was somebody that people talked to before they died. I have to talk to her more about that. And then I remember being a very young person having to organize a funeral. We need to talk about that one day. I want you to think about what happens if you get into a car accident on Christmas Day and you get hit by somebody who's an uninsured, illegal driver. Your car is totaled. That's your Christmas. How do you handle that? What if you woke up not to your alarm clock? What if you woke up to the sound of a fire alarm, and your Christmas is you running outside in your underwear if you're lucky, maybe carrying somebody that you love? Another side note for later, there are some of the guys and I were going to get together and have a conversation on the advantages of strength, about why every man should be as strong as he possibly can be. So if you're 19, you may be as strong as a 19-year-old can be. If you're 60, you should still be as strong as a 60-year-old can be, because I maintain strength is a hallmark and a cornerstone of being a valued and effective man. We can go into that later. Yeah, Reigning Woman knows what's up with that. What happens if you get an email from the doctor that said, hey, I've been trying to call you. Your test results that we said were normal, well, they're normal. You actually have stage 4 cancer somewhere important. You probably won't make it till New Year's. How do you deal with that information? What are some of the worst things that you can think of? Because remember, Christmas ain't good for everybody. There are some people who will wake up to this reality, but everybody believes it won't be them. Could you do that on Christmas? Could you wake up and give yourself a minute to say, okay, what are the top 10 things that I am totally afraid of? What are the top 10 things that I think about that cause me to cry even when nobody's looking? I can cope with these things because my personality disposition is, nice things don't happen to me. I tell people all the time, I have a nice life, but nice stuff has never just happened to me. I had to bleed for all of it. But I don't complain about it. I just say it prepared me for things that I found made me valuable to my friends and the people I care about. I'm a person they can call when things do go crazy because I keep my head on straight. I've been told I'm not chipper or optimistic enough, often by the same people who call me when things need to be serious. I tell people I'm happy all the time. It's just that I understand, for me, happiness, what if it's temporary? What if something happens to make me unhappy? How am I going to deal with that? Can you deal with that? Can you deal with the things that give other people horrible bouts of depression? What if it's kind of like snake venom? If you get exposed to it young and early, over and over again, you build up a tolerance to the bad things that happen to someone. We know all the things that I said are going to happen to someone. Someone's going to wake up to the news that their mom died in her sleep. Somebody's going to wake up in a family fire, right? Somebody's going to wake up and found out their credit card got cloned while they were at the supermarket and got cleaned out. Somebody's going to walk out of the mall with that cake they got for grandma. The car is just gone. Gone. License plate just sitting there in the parking spot. How are you going to deal with that? I'm going to tell you a story about people from England who went to India. They colonized India and raped and pillaged that country for a very long time, but they were fascinated by a tribe of snake catchers, people who to this day catch snakes to give people venom, to turn into antidotes. They couldn't understand why this tribe of people, men and women alike, even children, would just go around with sticks, looking around. They say, "Oh, you see that track? That's the poisonous Indian viper." I'm just made that up. I don't even know if it's a real thing. And they stick their hand in the hole. Sometimes they get bit, sometimes they don't. They pull the snake out, throw it in a bag over their shoulder, and keep moving. And these English guys were like, "How is that happening?" So finally, the natives, the Indians, the people who lived there and had been since the beginning of recorded history, said, "Well, you see all these tattoos we have all over our body. These tattoos protect us from the snakes." The English people were like, "That sounds like some bullshit." Even though they said it sounded completely nonsensical, they decided they were going to get some tattoos as well. So what did they do? Went out, got tattooed head to foot, came back, said, "Look, I got the same tattoos you do. Let's go snake hunting." Local guys go out, pick up some snakes. Sometimes they get bit, sometimes they don't. Throw them in a bag, throw them over their shoulder. Owl's Odyssey. I think one of the advantages of living the abroad life and living your dreams is you have to face those fears. Yeah. She hit the nail on the head with that one. You can't run away. You don't get an opportunity to pretend like those things aren't real. And for everybody watching, I also want you to go check that out. Go check that out. Got some interesting content there. So now where was I in this story? Oh, okay. Now this is actually, interestingly enough, right, things happen because I make them happen. That's the right attitude. So the Englishmen come back to the tribe of Indian snake handlers full of tattoos, watching the snake catchers go out to catch snakes. These English guys said, "All right, we got the technique down. We know what stick to use. We know what tracks to look for. We're going to go grab some snakes." English guys go out, grab some snakes, get bit, and immediately fall over and die. Blackmail talk. Do you know why I love BMT? Because he uses critical thinking. That's why I love this guy. See, when the Indians told them, "Yeah, well, of course, the tattoos protect us from the snake venom," well, nobody stopped to realize that when the English guys got their tattoos, well, they went out and had tattoos with ink mixed with water or whatever it's supposed to be. And when the Indians got their tattoos, the tattoos weren't made with water infused with pigment. It was infused with snake venom as the liquid in the pigment. And that's why every year they got more and more tattoos, because the tattoos were literally inoculating them against the snake venom. Nobody thought about that. Nobody thought about that. They thought it was the tattoos, and it was the tattoos. But they introduced themselves to something horrible a little at a time. Stay with me. Kind of like waking up in the morning and thinking about the worst things that could happen to you. The thing I love about YouTube is that there's room for everybody. It's not like the old days on television. You can only have one favorite show on at 8 o'clock. Follow this guy. Go listen to some of the stuff he says, and I'll tell you the same thing I tell people about me. Follow him for 1 month. If he's not for you, delete him from your feed. Everybody watching right now, click the subscribe button and hit the little bell and the thumbs up, because if I'm something that you'll enjoy, because I usually talk about world travel, money, getting more into philosophy, a lot of different things. If you like it, stick around. If after a month I'm not for you, that's okay. I'm not going to be hurt. Oh, wait a minute. You're going to have to tell us that story at some point. You travel with someone on the Silk Road. I often forget that you have such a illustrious and diverse life experience. Uncle Ladrunius, welcome. At the gym, listen to some good info. You don't need to be listening to this while you're working out, man. This is that aggressive, angry music you need to listen to. Al actually said, trying to follow those dreams, you'll have to be alone, face some health scares, and that's how it works. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. So what I encourage us to do is start a little at a time. Start with just Christmas, which is a great day. Start with that 1 minute before you get up, before you even go pee. Think of the top 10 things that are the worst that could happen to you. How will you respond? If you feel like responding would be screaming, that's fine. Scream into your pillow. See, now that way when it really happens, if it really happens, you got screaming out of the way. If your response is tears, that's okay. That's okay. Cry. Cry now. That way, when whatever bad hits, whatever the most unpleasant thing that can happen to you, whenever that comes down the wire over Christmas or any other day, you've already mentally adjusted yourself to that. You've already mentally told yourself, well, I know how I can deal with this. I've already gotten the unpleasant part out of the way, the tears, the screaming, the kicking, and the I hate this and I hate that. Oh, here we go. So I should get a snake bite tattoo off. I already got mine by the snakes on YouTube. You know what, everybody? It's that scalding sense of sarcasm, wit, and humor, which is why I want everybody to take a minute. My friend Raining Wobbit she's awesome. She's awesome. I love her to death. And I want everybody to go check out her channel. It's got 99% less aggression than mine. So you might want to go check her out sometimes if you need to just clear your thoughts and think about some nice things. Because listen, when we talk about money, it's not pleasant. I tell people what they're doing wrong and how to get a little bit more, to save a little bit more. When we talk about world travel, it's not pleasant. I tell you, listen, you got to get your stuff together. Here's how you get a passport. Here's how you get a visa. Go do it. If not, screw you. Raining Woman is a lot more pleasant to be around. So she's a good counterbalance when you get done listening to one of mine. Go listen to one of hers. Having said that, I'll leave you with the last thing that I always leave everybody with, because like I said, I'm not a quote unquote YouTuber, even though if they decide to give me a check, I'm up for that. But what do I do? What allows me to have a life in a situation that lets me share some of the things that I've learned and the good times that I've had and some of the wisdom that I've gained? Well, I'm an editor, copy editor, proofreader, ghostwriter. I coach people on university level English for TED Talks and things like that. If you have a book that needs to be written, that you've written, and you want it edited into university level English, a newspaper, a university article, I've done quite a bit of writing right now, writing resumes. And here's what I tell people: skip looking through my experience. Look at that second. Whenever you go to check me out on LinkedIn, by the way, my name is YusefWateef. I'm the same person everywhere. I want you to skip all the way down to the recommendation. See, these are the public professional endorsements from businessmen all over the world that know who I am, know what it's like to work with me, and can speak to my level of professionalism and authority in the few things that I say I know how to do. I don't claim to know everything, but the things I tell you I'm good at, they'll tell you I'm excellent at. Hey, Nama, I hope you have a great holiday as well. I'm glad I gave you guys this. I'm glad I gave you something a little bit unexpected, hopefully, but valuable. I love you all, and I hope everybody has a great holiday. I hope none of these things come true, but if they do come true, I hope that you've already prepared